Yeah. Now, you know, someone here says money is just cotton balls with numbers painted on it. I don't like to undermine what money is. I don't like to do that. And the person may mean well, but I don't play those games. Money is just an illusion. It's just paper. Money doesn't grow on trees. Well, it's made from trees, so let's cut it out. I don't like to play those games, because when we play those kind of games, next thing you know, you don't give a hell about what kind of living circumstances you have, because if you don't realize the significance of having money, you don't realize the significance of changing your paradigm. That 9 to 5 is some sucker shit, and we can't afford to have our people making subscriptions to that kind of paradigm. We can't. We can't. We don't want to be living check to check no more, man. Come on, man. We better than that. With all this knowledge we got on ancient African science and metaphysics, come on, man. We should be spinning circles and running laps around making this money. But it's clear that we missing some of the information. You got the metaphysics information, but you still need to know some of the data that makes wealth building applicable. You still need to know that. Now, if you got your metaphysics right, your spirit is intact, and then you have your applicable knowledge, not just the fancy nuance of metaphysics that you learn about what money really is and all that after we finish speculating about what it really is. I'm talking about having applicable data so we could take that knowledge in light of its application and materialize our conceptions. We all should be sick of working for people. And if you're sick for working for people, you need to get in tune and do the mentorship program. That if someone's talking to our people to motivate them out of being complacent with working to build someone else's dreams, working to send someone else's children to school so that they can make employees out of our youth. This is the conversation we need to have to change our situation. There should be no other conversations that take priority over this one. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? It's self-hate, of course. The focal point is our ability to become masters of our own destiny through entrepreneurship. And that can only happen if you start tearing yourself away from the 9 to 5, which is a prison sentence. When I hear 9 to 5, I think of 30 years to life. That's what I think of. When I hear 9 to 5, I think of 30 years to life. I'm going to stay on point. I set out to have a goal tonight. Oh yeah, no doubt. I appreciate you appreciating the information I was sharing about credit earlier. That's a fact. It's on right 666 views. It's unbelievable. I think one of the downfalls or the pitfalls of this conscious community is that the distribution of information as it relates to what we conceive to be metaphysics or what we contend to be metaphysics versus politics and economics is so disproportionate. It's so disproportionate that when people start having actual adult conversations, a lot of people's attention span just goes. So for someone to turn around, look, 666 people are viewing. You have way too much of those conspiracy DVDs in your house. That when we're talking about 9 to 5, those are the two numbers we're talking about, 9 to 5. $150,000 a year. You don't want to be making $32,000 a year family of 4. You don't want to be making $15,000 a year as an individual. But the only number you focused on is 666. That tells you what kind of information we've been putting into our brain all too often from one year to the next. Our mind has to be on investing at this particular point in time. And people are going to terrorize anybody in a community that's saturated with speculation. People are going to terrorize anyone that tries to make adults or endeavors to make adults out of the neophytes who beseech knowledge in the community. From the time I first started teaching economics in the community, people was like, yo, man, he's all about that material stuff. That's not what our teachers was about. And that's why your teachers died broke. That's why your teachers were in nursing homes. And that's why the people who say those are their master teachers didn't take them out of nursing homes, because they didn't have the power. Because if they did, you think they would leave their teachers in nursing homes? Now people getting sensitive. If our teachers had the ability to keep their teachers out of nursing homes, do you think they would have left them in there? But our teachers can barely afford themselves because their livelihood comes from teaching you. So if they empower you to move on with your life, to do greater and bigger things, they won't have no money, because you will be so busy being an entrepreneur, you won't have time to constantly see them 10, 12 times a year, lecture after lecture. You taking off of work to listen to people. Damn it, if someone takes off of work to hear me speak, I have to educate them about something that makes them more money. How about that? If you take off of work, or if you're spending some sleeping time to stay awake to listen to me, knowing you have to go to work the next day, I respect you enough to say somewhere in between my conversation, I'm always going to incorporate wealth building. I have to. Otherwise, I'll be disrespecting you as my audience, because I got to understand what's taking place. But I'm going to tell you this. The goal got to be also to move to progressive environments, or environments that have an ambiance that's befitting to who you are naturally, or being a being of nature. Sees palm trees and pool and all that, that helps me think. That puts me in a different space. Seeing graffiti and garbage bags and bars on the window and rodents when the trash moves, or you walk by the trash, all of that leads to more poverty incentives. That's why it's hard to climb out of poverty, because the ambiance in the community is going against the grain. It's going against your better thinking. It's going against your better judgment. Real talk. You go somewhere where the setting is beautiful, and you start thinking beautiful. The setting looks progressive, you start progressing. Trees look like they're dying, people are dying in the neighborhood. Trees look like they're living, people are living in the community. Real talk. Moving out has very little to do with, oh, I don't want to be around black people. Little to no reasons that I moved away has anything to do with me wanting to be away from my people. It's a responsibility I had, because I'm a husband to my wives, and I am a father to my children. So I can't just be sitting here with my black power pride saying to myself, you know what? I don't want to move from the hood, because I want to keep it real. I got other things that I got to do. I got people that I'm responsible for. I have obligations to people outside of myself. It's called selfless acts of love. I got obligations to people other than myself. Like I said, you can fake being a revolutionary way more than you can fake being a master of your own destiny, because you're an entrepreneur. It's real talk. You can fake a lot of things in this world, but you can't fake wealth building. You can't fake being in a good space, being in control of your destiny. You can't fake that. You know, anytime anybody comes with the economic plan or vision, they're going to always tear them down. There's agents sent to you to make sure. Think about it. If there's, again, I'm going to say this again. Can't say it enough. If there's a school system that perpetrates the fraud that they're preparing you for life, and they don't teach you nothing about food, clothing, and shelter for the first 14 years of your school career, you don't think that they're heavily invested in making sure that you never become an entrepreneur? Think about it. If the school system doesn't prepare you to be an entrepreneur, you think they're going to just let anyone walk in here and empower you with ideas and opportunities for you to become a master of your own destiny? That is to say, to be in control of your economics? Come on, y'all. I'm trying to tell you something. We got to really think about this. The 9-to-5 is the system of heaven that was created for non-blacks at the expense of black people's hells. It's a fact. These are the clear facts. These are the clear facts. You feel what I'm saying? They don't want us to be in control of our own destiny. They don't want you to be a master of your own destiny, so they give you that 9 to 5. So you can't step outside of it. Once you've done it for X amount of years, human beings, we're creatures of habit. You walking with me? We're creatures of habit. That's what it is. We're creatures of habit. We're going to go to work. We're going to go to school. We may go to our religious institution. They got everybody locked in to the same grid. You don't even know that there's an electromagnetic field that exists 60 miles outside of the planet Earth that's connected to human consciousness, that makes consciousness non-local. So non-locality is a phenomena in which if one thing is impacted, something somewhere else simultaneously is impacted because it's connected to it. So human consciousness is connected to each other. So where one person is creating something on this side of the world and they think they have exclusive right to that thought, someone else somewhere in the world on another side of the planet simultaneously is also coming up with something reminiscent to that same idea that's taking place on the other side of the world. That's non-locality. So it's a non-local theme of consciousness. So the name of the goal is to imbue so much doubt in our minds when it comes to being entrepreneurs or masters of our own destiny that so many of us think that it's above and beyond us, that what eventually winds up happening is most of us wind up being sucked into this force field of discontent and a lack of belief when it comes to our potential or capabilities to be masters of our own destiny. Now, this is real talk. And the ancient Kemetic ancestors, they spoke about it. They have their own perspective and jargon that they use, but there's an electromagnetic field that exists 60 miles above planet Earth that connects human consciousness. All animals on planet Earth have their field that connects all of them consciously. Human beings have their field that connects them consciously. It's a fact. And this consciousness is non-local. It has a non-locality to it. Okay? Real talk. It's real talk.